Rent keeps going up, your disability check or fixed income stays exactly the same, and you're lying awake at night terrified, asking yourself, what happens when I can't pay anymore? You're not alone. I have spoken to people with chronic illnesses facing eviction. But I'm here to tell you that living in a vehicle isn't just for influencers or campers. For many, it's a legitimate emergency housing solution. Today, we're going to break down the actual math of base camps, RV parks, and boondocking. I'm going to show you how people are turning vans into stable, affordable homes from a nurse who gets it.
On the road to healing, 1 mile at a time.
I'm Nurse TLC. Welcome to Healing on Wheels. If you caught my last video, we talked about whether van life is physically safe for bodies with chronic illnesses such as EDS, POTS, and chronic pain. So if you missed that video, it'll be linked above or in the description box below the video. Today we are talking about whether it's financially viable as emergency housing. Most people think living in a van or RV is basically being homeless. But when you live with chronic conditions that limits your income, viewing this as mobile real estate changes everything. It turns a housing crisis into a housing plan. We're going to cover 5 ways to do this: base camps, boondocking, paid camping, moochdocking, and a combination of them all. We'll look at the real costs of RV parks versus apartments, and I'll share a story about a stroke survivor I know who used this exact method to take control of her life. No. Drop. You leave that alone. That's mom's. That's mom's. That's mom's. No. To make this work as housing, you need to understand your 5 options. In the chronic illness community, we measure everything in spoons, our daily energy limit. Each of these options costs a different amount of money and a different amount of spoons. If you aren't familiar with what I mean by spoons, here is a video up above linked where I covered the spoon theory. Option 1 is what I call base camp. This is having a home base or staying in an RV park with full hookups. Electricity, water, sewer, trash, showers, and laundry facilities. This is a more expensive option, but it costs the least amount of physical spoons. You have unlimited power for medical devices, you have hot showers, you have stability. For me, with my POTS and temperature regulation needs, I know I need a home base. Have a home base I call base camp. Option 2 is boondocking. This is dispersed camping on public land, like BLM land. It is usually free and you can stay in one spot for up to 14 days. Financially, it's a lifesaver, but physically, it's expensive. It can use the most spoons. You have to haul your own water, manage your own waste, and generate your own power by a generator or solar. People may also not be close by, so you are more isolated. If you're in a flare, boondocking can get overwhelming quickly because it's more difficult to get help unless you plan on caravanning or camping with others. Look at that cute baby dog right there watching me. Option 3 is paid campgrounds, generally without electrical hookups, but they do have water, trash, and bathrooms. These have some conveniences and usually a camp post on site, which is handy for emergencies. These can range from $12 to $36 a night in my area of California. So definitely more expensive than boondocking, but maybe less expensive than a base camp and definitely less expensive than an apartment. Option 4 is moochdocking. This is parking in a friend or family member's driveway or property. You might run an extension cord to their house for power. This is a fantastic emergency stopgap. It gives you community support, which is vital when you're sick, but it can be socially tricky for long term. There's also the possibility of renting a small area on someone's property to park and plug in. Option 5 is a hybrid approach, or what I call combo camping. This is my own little lingo. This is what I do. This is what I usually do. It's a combination of boondocking, paid camping, and having a home base you can come and go from. It gives you a safety net, an emergency backup plan to fall back on for flares. I might stay 1 week at base camp, then go out boondocking for a week, then come back to base camp to do laundry, refill water, take a shower, then load up for a trip somewhere. If I head to the beach, I will usually stealth park for free and may also need to use paid campgrounds along the way, or pay for an RV park occasionally. For me, it's the best of both worlds, and I budget for it. Sometimes I have to stay at base camp longer or boondock for free to save up money needed for trips I want to go on. Now, the reason we are all considering this, the money. Let's look at the real numbers. I want to be very transparent. Van life is not free. You have gas, insurance, and maintenance. But look at rent. In my area of California, even a small apartment can run $1,500 to over $2,000 a month. That is unsustainable on disability or a fixed income. However, the average RV park rates in my area of California are generally between $400 and $800 per month. That is 1/4 to 1/2 of the price of a small apartment. Of course, there are other RV parks that are more resort-like that can be a lot more expensive. Campground costs in my area of California cost between $350 and $1,000 for a 30-day stay. Combo camping. This is dependent on your base camp price and camping fees for 5 to 6 days a month, then boondocking or stealth parking the rest of the time. So let's say your RV park costs $500 a month plus $100 in camping fees equals $600. Cutting housing costs by that much means you could afford better food. It may also mean you could afford supplements and co-pays without panicking. Financial stress is a direct trigger for cortisol, and cortisol wreaks havoc on chronic illness. By removing the rent panic from your life and adding the healing power of being in nature, it may actually help your symptoms improve, like it has mine. So while the physical environment of a van has challenges, the mental relief of financial stability can be a massive health benefit. It turns surviving into thriving when you aren't drowning in debt just to have a roof over your head. Sorry, I'm having kind of a little bit of allergies today. I want to share a story to show you this isn't just for young people. I have a really good friend in the community. Most of you already know her, but if you don't, her name is BoxVanDee here on YouTube. Her channel will be linked above and in the description box below. She is a senior and a stroke survivor. So please go to her channel and watch her videos, and she will explain how she makes this lifestyle work for her at age 73. Even before her stroke, she realized as she aged, she needed a home base because her vision was getting worse and boondocking was getting more difficult. No more lifting things and packing up camp just to go to town. For Dee, the RV park has become her safety net, and she has plenty of friends to check in on her. She isn't worried about where to park anymore. She owns her home, she rents the land for a fraction of an apartment cost, and she uses the savings to pay for her other costs and an emergency fund. She has consistent electricity, water, sewer hookups, trash disposal, laundry, and showers. That is what I mean when I say this is a housing solution. It allows her to age in a place with dignity rather than struggling or in an apartment she couldn't afford on her Social Security, just staring at four walls. There's one final piece to this puzzle. If you stop paying rent, you need to start paying an emergency repair fund. In a house, when the roof leaks, you call the landlord. In a van, when the transmission blows, you are the landlord. And if your home is in the shop, you are effectively homeless for a few days, and you may need to pay for a motel or an Airbnb while your tiny home on wheels is in the shop. You cannot go hog wild spending every dollar you save. You need to take that difference, that $1,000 you saved on rent, and put a chunk into a savings account for repairs. I would put half into an emergency fund, the other half into a miscellaneous or travel fund. Having the right gear turns surviving into thriving, but having an emergency fund keeps a breakdown from becoming a crisis. So once you budget for your base camp and camping fees and emergency fund, you will still need to budget for your gas, your insurance, electricity, and food. So is it easy? No. Dealing with dumping toilets and finding water takes effort. Is it a viable lifeboat when the rental market is drowning you? Absolutely. It is an option if you have a reliable income source that covers your vehicle maintenance and medical needs. You have an emergency fund for when your rig breaks down. You have the right gear for temperature control. You are honest with yourself about whether you need a base camp or if you can handle boondocking. If you are looking at your finances and feeling hopeless, please know there are options. It requires planning and requires adapting, but you can build a life that fits your budget and your body. Let me know in the comments, how does your condition affect your ability to be alone? Would the isolation of boondocking be a deal breaker for you or a relief? And if you're already living this lifestyle, what kind of rig are you living in, and do you have a base camp? If you're looking to adapt your life for chronic illness, make sure to subscribe. We are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers to build this little community of healing on wheels. I'd love to have you along for the ride. In the next video, you know that friend I mentioned earlier, BoxVanDee? I'm going to show you her box truck and her new base camp. You definitely won't want to miss that. Remember to be kind to your body today. It's the only permanent home you have. The van is just secondary. I'll see you in the next video. Bye! What are you doing? Are you checking on Mom? Hey, what you doing?
Close your eyes.
You have kisses?
Get some rest.
Sweet. Sweet girl.
I'm by
Yes.
your side.
She's just a sweetheart. Look at her.
Lay your head on my chest.